Good morning, Peter.
It's a pleasure to speak with you, ma'am. So what do you have for us today?
Well, Peter, it's been a fairly busy week for felony arrests here in Missoula County. We had 11 felony arrests that resulted in felony charges over the past week. We're looking at the week of July 24th through the 30th. Two of those were fugitives from justice. One is what I would call a homicide-related felony. The man in jail has not been charged with homicide, but he's been charged with a felony related to that. That case is under investigation, and we're conducting a joint investigation with the authorities in Spokane.
I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many questions I have about that case.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions about that case, too, and
Sure.
we're just kind of waiting for the investigation to play out and
Gotcha.
following the evidence.
Okay.
This is what's real concerning, though. Again, we had 4 domestic-related felonies. Now, we're talking serious felony crimes that occur between family members, and we have seen quite an abundance of these lately. So that's always alarming. We're reviewing one more domestic case that came over that has not been charged yet.
Now, is it summer and hot weather, or does it matter what season it is?
We do tend to see kind of an increase when there's dramatic weather changes or when it's really hot, and around the holidays as well. But these numbers are pretty concerning. We're trying to look at trends and kind of figure out where resources are working, where we need to add more resources. So another concerning number I've got for you is that we had 3 drug-related felonies. And I'm not talking people who are passing around a joint at a party. These are not the cases we're focusing on. We've got 4 meth cases, 1 meth and a heroin case, and then there was another one with a 16-year-old that had 251 grams of pot. So the rise of the meth cases, we saw a decline in those for a while, and they're kind of coming back, which is really alarming. We all know how detrimental that drug is. There was 1 robbery case, failure to register as a violent offender, 2 sexual abuse of children cases, which are essentially possession of child pornography, a deceptive practices, and we're looking at another stolen vehicle.
So it's been a pretty full week for the county attorney's office.
It's been a full week, nothing too far out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
A little bit we picked up since last week. There was the investigation going on involving the off-duty police officer,
Right.
that you're aware of at the Celtic Festival. That case, the Attorney General has the opinion that when there's a law enforcement officer involved in an alleged crime, then the county attorney in that jurisdiction has an inherent conflict of interest. So we have asked a neighboring prosecutor to take a look at that case and make a decision.
Well, now, is this after the internal review, or is it in conjunction with it?
It's in conjunction with.
Okay.
What neighboring prosecutor?
Marcia Boris in Mineral County has agreed to take a look at it.
Okay. Now, what could be the possible repercussions of this? Obviously, I know there was a scuffle that went on. Of course, as an off-duty police officer, and then he may have thought he had cause. So all that has to be decided by first the police department and then Ms. Boris, right?
Yeah, there's several layers of complications involved when you're looking at a case involving a police officer. There's potential criminal charges. There's the internal investigation, which would be administrative. They're looking at various things that could happen administratively, criminally, and then there's always concerns about civil repercussions in the future as well.
Sure. All right. Anything else we need to know about, Kirsten?
Couple things. We've got a crazy trial calendar for next week. There's 8 trials scheduled to start on Monday. Some of those will fall off, and it's one of those things where we have to figure out which one's most likely to go and kind of be ready to go on all of them.
Now, I was curious about that because many times attorneys' offices are criticized for, plea bargaining out a certain amount of. I know that there was one deliberate homicide charge there was a plea bargain that avoided a trial. So, what's the whole idea behind the idea of a plea bargain anyway?
Well, that's a good question. That's a fair question. Basically, our system is designed to reflect that about 95% of the cases are settled through plea negotiations, and that's a nationwide statistic. In Missoula, I think we actually probably go to trial a little bit more than they do on the national average, but if we were to take every one of those cases to trial, it would literally crush the system. You would need to hire 100 more prosecutors. You'd need to hire 100 more public defenders, and more court staff, more bailiffs, and then you'd have to find 100 times more jurors than we have. So it's really, and plea negotiating is an integral part of our process. But, some people like it, some people don't. But the idea is to really come to a resolution that's going to, one, protect the community, but two, kind of meet the needs of this particular defendant so that we don't see him again.
Sure. Now, where does the whole grand jury system fit into? I know we haven't had a grand jury at Missoula since the Dusty Dayshaw days.
No, The Montana statutes allow charging by grand jury in state court as well as federal court as a regular practice there. But it's an option for charging. We don't necessarily have to use a grand jury, and it's just a lot more efficient resource-wise for us to charge the way we do, which is to file an information before a district court who reviews it for probable cause and then makes a determination. It's a lot quicker, it's a lot cheaper, uses a lot less resources.
All right. Well, Kirsten, we've taken up enough of your valuable time. Thank you for this report. It's been very illuminating.
Thanks, Peter. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks so much for calling.
Bye, John.
Bye-bye.